welcome back to Teacher Kenny's English for Everyone, guys. Hope you're doing okay. Hope you've been studying and learning something. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. If you like what's going on, if the videos are teaching you something, you subscribe, okay? It goes two ways. I try to teach you and you try to learn. So today, I put together a list of tips, part of them from a book that I had written when I was in China. And we went over some of these before, but I'm just going to kind of go down in order of things that you need to learn so you can speak a better English, okay? We all want a better English, right? Even I do, and I'm an old guy. So anyhow, the first thing, number one, is know your vocabulary, right? We cannot have a language without words, and you cannot speak to me without some knowledge of vocabulary. So whatever's on your list, whatever you're reading, if you've got a newspaper out here or whatever it is, look for those strange words and do not guess. That's my biggest thing for you is do not guess. You listen to how it's pronounced, listen to the meaning, okay? So vocabulary. And another thing about vocabulary, this would be like a bonus tip. When you study vocabulary, try to do it early as you can in the day while your mind is still fresh. That way you can go out, you can go to class, go to work, and you can practice this stuff even in your head. Or if you got a friend to talk to or whatever, you have a chance to practice some of your new vocabulary. All right, I got all this written down. All right, another thing, slow down. Speak clear and slow. Make sure every word is pronounced, okay? Don't cut things off short. Lots of speakers want to cut the end off of a word, like instead of America, they go America. Well, that makes you sound like a fool, doesn't it? Say words fully, okay? But do not speak too fast. You guys from India, Bangladesh, most of the time you're speaking too fast that I cannot understand you. Slow down. Listen to how we do it. That's the most important thing. Listen to how we say it, because that's the language you're trying to speak. So clear, slow, and be understood. That's the goal, right? To be understood. As an English learner, that is your goal. Avoid filler words as much as possible. We also call them crutch words, and that's like, well, maybe, let me see, it's doing that too much. We all do it a little bit, and you'll hear me do it a little bit, but it's when you overuse filler words that's not good for your oral English, and it makes you sound not so smart. Okay? So be cautious and listen to yourself speak English and hear when you do that. Okay? Moving on. All right, number 4 is really important, and I used to get on to my students about this. Listen to the accents. Right? Remember, English is a worldwide language, and not everybody sounds exactly the same, okay? So what you need to do, you may be watching American movies and listening to American English, and you're starting to get familiar with that sharp, clear American English. But hey, people in Britain, over there in England, they speak just a little different, but they have an accent. In Australia, they have an accent. So you need to Africa, any of the English-speaking nations, you can hear little differences in accents. And I would advise you to listen and kind of learn those accents. Don't get stuck on just listening to one thing. Remember, you're learning English, but you need to be able to understand Like in my college, my last college I was in, I had people from Russia speaking English, and had people, from Kazakhstan and Bangladesh. I had to listen to a lot of accents. So I had to kind of do the same thing that you need to do. Learn those accents and get accustomed to listening to English outside the box, so to speak. Don't get stuck on one accent. Okay. Number 5. Well, practice conversation. You need a way and a source to use your English. Look and see if you're a worker, see if any of the colleges in town have English activities, like an English corner. You've got to be able to practice what you're learning. You've got to find some way. Even if you need to set a rubber duck up here and talk to it, you need to do that, okay? If the words are not coming out of your mouth, you're wasting half of your learning right there. So practice having some kind of conversation. You can even talk to your grandmother that doesn't know any English, maybe, just to practice, okay? So don't forget that. You got to do it. Number 6, simple sentences. That is so important, especially when we speak. When we speak, we are not trying to blow you away with all our English skills, all right? Usually in oral English, we have very simple, direct conversation, all right? And you need to do the same thing. Don't try to impress me or impress your English-speaking friends how big a sentence you can make. Use short, simple sentences, just subject, verb, predicate, blah, 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 and get really good at that. Then you can start adding on to your vocabulary. So keep it simple, all right? Number 7 here is huge. It's really, really huge, and this goes back to you needing to learn vocabulary. Avoid word repetition. In other words, don't keep saying the same thing over and over and over and over. All right? If something is beautiful, find other adjectives to describe beautiful. Or, that's an example. But don't say the same thing over and over again. And you can practice this also by writing. I have books, and one of the things I'm always conscious of when I write is that very same thing. I don't want to have to always use, the same thing. I was writing about a lake just yesterday, and I had to break myself from saying little lake or tiny lake. So I added some adjectives to it, the small clear water lake or whatever it is. I wanted to change things up so my reader would not get tired of my words. And it's the same thing when you're speaking. All right? So avoid word repetition. Number 8, just be confident. Build your confidence. In other words, when you learn that vocabulary and you're talking to somebody, get that confidence in your head, and you'll mess up less frequently. And one way of doing it, like I said, a lot of people get stuck on just reading, and they think that's going to improve their English. It's not really. Until you can speak out loud, like you're speaking to me, or like I'm speaking to you, that makes you less confident. And I saw lots of my Chinese students, they could read pretty good, but when they went to speak, they were afraid. Don't be afraid. Just keep doing it. It'll get better. Every time you speak, it will get a little better. All right? Number 9 is monitor your speech. And what I'm getting at, you find passages to read and record, like on your phone. Find some way to record your voice and listen. All right? And you go back and listen. You go, well, is my pronunciation pretty good? I don't know. Maybe I can improve. Can my friends understand me? You need to listen to your voice and listen to your mistakes. If you make any, maybe you speak a perfect English and you don't know it. But find ways to listen to yourself. Number 10. Number 10 is really good once you are learning a little bit of English, is read and listen to the news. And one way to do it, thank goodness for these YouTube channels and places like that, where you can listen to the English and see the captions, for example. Right? You need to become familiar. You need to be able to understand what they're saying. And you can look just by reading the captions if they are speaking too fast. If they're speaking too fast all the time, we may have to change and go to something not as advanced. But once you start learning some vocabulary, things get a little bit easier. Okay, so vocabulary is huge because you cannot read and listen, or you cannot listen and understand if you only know this many words. We need to keep getting our library of words bigger and bigger, okay? And you will always be doing it. So don't be afraid of learning vocabulary, but learn to remember. If you study that vocabulary too late at night, for example, you'll probably forget it when you fall asleep, or you'll only remember this much. Wake up, study a few words when you're fresh, and go out and practice. But anyhow, that's it. There's some tips that you can work on to improve your speaking, all right? So get out and practice, and we'll talk to you later, okay? Have a great day, okay? Bye.